What's up, guys? John here. In the last 18 hours, Canada has fallen. Three major things have happened. The first, the police chief just came out and said that if someone were to come to your home and ask for the car keys, whether they kick your front door down, whatever it may be, just make it very convenient for them. Put the keys right at the front door, because crime has gotten so out of control that we can't really help you.
Toronto Police Service telling residents, just let the thieves steal your car.
To prevent the possibility of being attacked in your home, leave your fobs at your front door.
And then he came out and said this yesterday, 1.2 million views on just this single tweet. It's already been reposted 4,187 times. Probably has tens of millions of views collectively throughout social media already. I mean, look at this video. Look at this. This is a drop in the bucket compared to the real story as well.
The possibility of being attacked in your home, leave your fobs at your front door. Because they're breaking into your home to steal your car. They don't want anything else. A lot of them that they're arresting have guns on them, and they're not toy guns, they're real guns.
So that's absolutely frightening, right? He's like, yeah, we can't really help you. Now, you might say, okay, that's Canada, John. I live here in America. In Pittsburgh, they just slashed the police department. They're closed from 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. You look at the crime that's skyrocketing. All of this, all these cities that are facing these massive deficits, they're talking California, $60-something billion deficit.
A serious budget deficit. That's what California is dealing with entering the new year. The state is facing a $68 billion shortfall.
They're slashing police officers. They're slashing these jobs. So when we have this massive affordability crisis and cops are, unable to solve the solution, what's going to happen? Crime's likely going to continue to increase. But this is only just the beginning, because when you look at what else Canada is doing, you're going to start to see a lot of things that could possibly go to America, could possibly go to Australia, which, if we look at the last couple of years, pretty crazy things happen there. You're going to start to see some really, really big trends come to the global economy. In this video, I'm going to break it down for you. I'm going to show you exactly what is happening in Canada and exactly what possibly could be coming here in some capacity. Please hit the like button, hit the like button. YouTube will share this content to educate the people about what's really going on in the world economy. And today's video is sponsored by Genesis Gold Group. If you're looking at the world, seeing a very, very unstable place, and you're looking at the stock market, looking at the real estate market, wondering how long this is going to stand, many people are looking at gold. They're looking at precious metals. They're looking at land. They're looking at ways in which they can hedge their bets against insanity. So if you're looking to learn more about gold, possibly investing in gold or silver, precious metals, check out the link in the description just for this video. Call 1-800-200-GOLD. Or if you have a 401k or IRA and you're looking to convert it to a retirement account backed by precious metals, you can click the link in the description below or give a call to the phone number listed in the description. Take a look at this. So police reported crime is on the rise again, with violent crime at the highest rate since 2007, right? 2007. Then this came out yesterday. Canadian law endorsed by Trudeau, government could imprison people. This is New York Post for advocating for this. Now, I'm not saying anyone advocate for anything like that. But what I am saying is when they start there, over time it could easily, start getting reduced to something else, something very, very small, and like saying something that they deem as hateful online, whatever it could be, right? And we start living in a pretty crazy world, like overnight. Look at this. A Canadian law that aims to make social media platforms safer is getting flack from what some decry as government overreach. Introduced late last month, the Online Harms Act, or Bill C-63, would allow judges to imprison adults for life if they advocate for this. The law will also allow a provincial judge to impose house arrest and a fine if they were reasonable grounds to believe a defendant will commit an offense. Think about that. A taxpayer would fund the imprisonment of someone that has not done a crime but they believe could do a crime, right? How crazy of a world are we walking into? Now, they say that this is, this journalist said this is very similar to the movie Minority Report. Basically, you're going to jail for thinking of a crime. Margaret Atwood, author of Handmaid's Tale, has criticized the bill as Orwellian. If this account of the bill is true, it's letters de cachet all over again. The possibilities for revenge, false accusations, thought crime stuff are so inviting. Trudeau's Orwellian online harms bill, Atwood wrote on Twitter. Writing in public, conservative author Stephen Moore called it the most shocking of all totalitarian, liberal, and anti-enlightenment pieces of legislation that have been introduced in the Western world in decades. Citing government spokesperson, the bill would increase the maximum penalty specifically for advocating this from 5 years to life in prison. And from 2 years to 5 years. I mean, what happens if somebody hacks somebody else's social media account, right? They hack their social media account, they post certain things. How does that work, right? You just start to see this whole thing start to unravel, how quickly we are moving. Like, we're moving into a pretty scary world. Now, when you see this, and then you start connecting the dots to the affordability crisis, because they connect perfectly. So, as cost of living soars, millions of Canadians are turning to food banks. New report from Food Bank Canada shows highest numbers since it began collecting data in 1989, right? So 35 years. They go on to say that every Friday, people line up around the block to pick up dinner from a tiny church off College Street in downtown Toronto. Volunteers working for the food program inside serve a hot casserole, some rice, maybe fruit, yogurt, and supplies come through. Rev. Canon Maggie, who helped run the program out of St. Stephen in the Fields Church, said it regularly serves 130 people for dinner on Friday, compared to the 24 they saw a few years ago. Think about that, a 500% increase, 600% increase. On Saturday and Sunday mornings, the lineup for breakfast is even longer, with hundreds of parents, seniors, students, working adults, and those who are unemployed. Every week we are scrambling. Every week we run out of food and we start foraging in the cupboards, in the freezer, for something that we can give to the people. It's terrifying. Then you look at what's happening right now. They're working on a universal basic income. So you think about this. They work on a universal basic income to solve the problem of food insecurity, which is now plaguing Canada, and many would argue in America, and the cost of food is absolutely crazy, right? So, and we already have 200 plus universal basic income pilot programs here in America. So you start to see a situation where people are going to demand assistance. They're going to demand a solution. And when that person or entity is offering the solution to that problem, then, the person taking that new solution is basically, product of the state, right? And so this is what's unfolding in Toronto. Advocates say a universal basic income program, and when you start to think about this, then you look at this bill, you can see how quickly this is getting out of control. Toronto advocates say a universal basic income program could make a difference in helping people struggle in precarious and low-income jobs. But some wonder if they will effectively tackle the problem of poverty, and if Canada could even afford the program. The concept is controversial, though the program has recently gained attention in a few provinces. Newfoundland and Labrador announced in November 2023 a 3-year program for residents 60 to 64, which will provide the equivalent of federal senior benefits, the Canadian press reported. The social determinants of health of having far greater impacts on the well-being of healthcare systems itself. The Newfoundland Premier, Andrew Furey, an orthopedic surgeon, I'm proud to say that the government, we are placing a heightened focus on social deterrence of health, both in spending and our policy directives. Now, this is just one of the universal basic income programs that they're working on right now in Canada. So you start to look at this, then you're looking at where property owners are, where people that own cars, where all the Canadians are truly standing, and they are standing at a very same, point as Americans. For example, Calgary lawyer says number of foreclosures are the worst since 2009. Like, their job market, their economy is starting to fall apart, and many would argue ours is as well. Foreclosures are really starting to pick up. I mean, you're starting to see insurance problems, and mortgage problems in Canada. The same are, what's happening here in America. 1/3 of mortgages in Canada in 2022 were variable rate mortgages. So they went from being very low interest rate to very high interest rate basically overnight. And at the same time, home insurance is up 7% in Canada. In many American markets, it's up 20%, 30% over the last year, right? So everything is getting much more expensive for Canadians. At the same time, you're getting hit with increased property taxes. So the rug is getting pulled under millions of Canadians. It's getting pulled. And when they start losing their homes, they're going to demand that assistance. They're going to demand a universal income or some type of financial help. That's what I think is going to be coming to Canada over the next couple of years. I don't see how it's not. More Canadians struggle with car loans as debt load becomes too much. Now, when I look at this situation with violent crime, and I look at what the police chief is saying and what's happening, for example, what happened with truckers in Canada, a couple of years ago, you can see how fast this train is moving. And so what I'm betting on is I'm betting we're going to start to see a lot of people in America, a lot of people around the world start to get very, very, very skeptical about, their own countries in the future. I bet we're going to start seeing a lot of people relocating out of places like Canada, going to, a lot of places in South America, going to different countries. I mean, I read a story just the other day of a Canadian family moving into Russia, right? Because they wanted to get away from what's happening in Canada. I think we're going to see a lot of migration unfolding, a lot of people investing differently because of all of this. I think we're going to see a lot of people investing in, precious metals. I think we're going to see a lot of people investing in farmland. I think we're going to see a lot of people investing in, different businesses and doing different things just to hedge their bets against, what's happening in the world. What do you think about this entire situation? Let's have a conversation about this in the comment section below. And if you're interested in learning about precious metals, maybe investing in gold or silver, or converting a 401k or IRA into a retirement account backed by precious metals, call 1-800-200-GOLD or click the link in the description just below this video to schedule a free consultation. Catch you next video.